Hey everybody, it's Chris and Andrew here. For our project, we're going to talk about two prominent breweries of the mid 1800s.
Till the mid 1900s.
Thank you.
Yep.
We're going to go over Christian Moorline and Hudipole, but we're also going to throw in some of the microbrews like Little Kings and
Hudipole, all the other ones that are coming back now.
yeah. So we're going to talk about that, and then at the end of the video, we're going to have a nice little beer tasting segment where we're going to give you guys our reviews on. I've got a couple different lines of Christian Moorline. We've got some Little Kings and Hudipole here, so we'll get those reviews to you guys. And
we're also going to talk about George Remus, the king of bootleggers. He's a little-known character in Cincinnati brewing history, but he played a major role during Prohibition. So we're going to do all those three.
So first off, the Christian Moorline Brewing Company was founded in 1853 by Christian Moorline, who was a Bavarian immigrant and a blacksmith. Little side note, most of the brewers that actually came to the area were not, they just didn't start brewing right away. They had little side trades and whatnot. So he was a blacksmith, but he did love beer and everything about it. So he enjoyed those hearty European beers, and that's pretty much what he wanted to focus on when he started his own business up. So in his first year, he produced about 1,000 barrels, which, I mean, doesn't seem like a whole lot, but given that it was a new brewery, that was actually a lot of beer. And then over the next 10 years, he actually was producing about 26,000 barrels. So his company exponentially exploded, and he began actually shipping his beer to places in Europe and South America. I know he actually sent some over to the Philippines and stuff. So, I mean, that was a huge deal for a little small town guy who came basically from nothing. He came over and was basically penniless and didn't have anything to his name. So that's huge. And
as with most of the German breweries in Cincinnati, they followed the German purity law, which is only, it only uses 4 ingredients of barley, hops, water, and yeast. So it's very simple, but you can still make a lot of flavors with those 4 ingredients. So it was vital to the business that he followed that German purity law. And a lot of other German immigrants really cared about it as well.
Heck yeah, they did.
Yep. So then we'll go into Hudipole.
All right, time to talk about Hudi. So Hudipole was founded in 1885 by Ludwig and Agnes Hudipole. They actually immigrated to the United States from Germany in 1838. And Ludwig was actually a salesman for a local surgical tool manufacturing plant. So like I said before, a lot of these people had different trades before they started brewing beer. So as he started working in that industry, he met a George Cott, who was the owner of several like smaller liquor stores downtown. And after they started to work together, they actually bought a failing brewery that had been used for like 20 years before they started using it or something like that. And
within 10 years, they were brewing over 100,000 barrels a year. So it was almost rapid rise in success for them. Then they bought a facility over in the West End, and by the 1890s, Cincinnati was one of the brewing capitals of the world. So they were extremely successful.
And with this influx of like German immigrants coming over, there was a huge desire for lager beer because, like we said before, that's the taste that every German immigrant was used to. So Hudipole, seeing that want for that beer, he started exclusively brewing German beers like the lagers, which were golden and dark. Also Bock beers. Yep. I'm not even really sure what that is.
They're still following the German purity law.
And different pilsners and stuff like that. So brewing those beers, Hudipole became one of the top breweries in Cincinnati, and it was one of the 3, including Christian Moorline, to actually survive the Prohibition. Actually, I read that Hudipole survived the Prohibition by selling non-alcoholic drinks like ginger ale and stuff like
Root
that.
beer.
So yeah, that was interesting.
So then by the 1970s, all these smaller breweries are starting to get swallowed up by the major corporations like Anheuser-Busch, Miller Corporation, Coors, etc. So by the 2000s, even Christian Moerlein and Hudepohl were closed. They didn't exist anymore. Then a guy by the name of Greg Hardman bought all of these old brewery names, and he started brewing them back in Cincinnati again with the hopes of making a national chain again, like we had back in the early 19 and 20th century.
Yeah, he actually built the Moerlein Lager House down on the banks, and he wanted to revive all these brands like Christian Moerlein and Hudepohl and Burger and Little Kings. He just wanted to make these not only popular back in Cincinnati, but he wants those to kind of expand outward like they used to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can go into Remus now.